Hello, welcome once again. You're still watching NBS, your political command center, and we're coming live to you from Naguru, plot 13. Now, we should be able to note that the real estate sector has grown by leaps and bounds in Uganda, and it is estimated that it contributes around 30% of the country's gross domestic product, though some of the numbers are not really clear as to that. And now we should be able to note yet another fact that many people are doing important things in the sector to ensure that they can further the cause of affordable housing in the country, to ensure that you can be able to find a house that is not only affordable but also livable. Why don't we speak to the people that are in that particular sector to help us understand it really further and what they are doing to ensure that each and every other person can enjoy the living in Uganda while they contribute positively to the national development. Joining me this morning on the breakfast meeting is Mr. Armstrong. Armstrong is going to be explaining to us what he does, because he is one of those real estate sector players. Armstrong, many thanks for joining us this morning for our breakfast meeting. Thank you so much once again. Tell us kindly, what do you think of Uganda's real estate sector before we go into the nitty-gritties?
Real estate, it's very vital. That's what I can say. And we still have a lot to do here as the players in real estate, because one thing we all have to understand is real estate contributes a lot on the planning of these urban areas, even the rural areas. But I will strictly talk more about the urban areas, because that's where we have a lot of mess around and all that. So I'll give you an example of what we have, like in Imbara, where we are doing much of our activities. Previously, we had city council coming in to only do the roads. Every road had to be done by city council. Every activity had to be done by the city council in the development infrastructures or the government. And with the coming of these real estate companies, they've brought in planning for the neighborhoods. They go and make roads, plan for the communities, which has, in a way, been a good thing for the city and for the community around, having some of the work, shared between the two, and this has really contributed a lot in the growth of different communities around these small cities or even Kampala. So it's something that real estate is a really growing venture here in Uganda, and it's making a lot of sense. I wish we could have a better way of regulating it, so that we can meet a certain standard.
Regulation is something that has been talked of regarding the real estate sector. But you see, many players are within the sector, the developers, speak about the managers, among others. What do you think sets Beyichini as an entity or as a player within the sector? What do you think sets you apart from the other sectors players?
Thank you for the question. Beyichini, really, like the name suggests, Beyichini is a Swahili word for low price. So that means we have the affordability part of it. We understand our community. We understand the people we live with. These are low-income earners. These are the people that should have a great place to live in with the least means they can have. So that's why we come in and give the good payment plans on our properties, so that everyone can be able to afford. And then the other thing that would really set us apart is the standard. Our main core value is building better communities. So no matter the budget of the estate, we always look at the quality. We don't compromise on the quality. If we are going to work on the road, it has to be a well-sized road, big enough, approved by the council, and well done, so that everyone can have a great access of their land and be able to, if you have a car, you should go home. You should not we've had people plan for estates, and you find someone is making a 10-foot road. You know, someone is making saying, you know, you can pass here with your bicycle. So you're limiting someone. What if someone buys a car? You know, and that's why I was telling you about the regulation, because this thing builds, spoils communities, and we have slums coming all over these new cities, or like what we have here in Kampala. And I think this is something that we can easily manage and control. So that's what Beyichini is trying to do. We have better communities.
So having better communities is really in alignment with the Physical Planning, Act, which is something that has been interesting and has been ruffling a lot of feathers within the people that are playing within the real estate sector. But I think now the discussion is going to shift a little bit to how do we move to smarter cities, the ones that have green belts. It is something that has been dying out in the most recent past. Is this something that sits at the very heart of Beyichini?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you a close example. Whenever we are making our estates, we always plant trees. That is something that many people don't look up to, but we always plant trees alongside the roads. All the roads through, we plant trees. And that is something that, one, beautifies the area, keeps the nature, but, one, I wouldn't tell you much about trees. That's an aspect that we all get people advising us to do that. With the global warming and everything, planting trees is really vital. Now, we move ahead. I'll give you one of the estates. An example, we have one of the estates we have in Imbara. It's called Karokarungi Estate, and this estate is it's unique in a way. It borders a swamp. Now, this is not a very big swamp identified by NEMA or something. This is a small seasonal swamp, but even that, we respect that. We cannot sell someone a plot that has an access to the swamp, because we know the moment we sell someone a plot, people will come in, dump the maram and develop the area, and these seasonal rains come in and water is blocked, and at the end of the day you're having a challenge with the people. So we make sure we maintain the swamp. We do activities that are supposed to be done on the swamp and let nature stay the way it is, as the rest of the developments are going on in the other area. So it is something that we are really trying our best to do, and we improve every day to make sure that at least we have smart and organized areas. Are you
located in every other part of the country? Because now the other question would arise as to whether you are accessible by all the customers. Are you accessible as an entity? Do people find it easy to find their way to your offices?
Yeah, it's easy to find us, especially online. The physical office, with the coming of internet, at least the online part solves a lot. Yeah, we have our main offices in Imbarara, Shell Makenke, it's near Coca-Cola as you're moving out to town. And, but at least if you find any issue with directions, you can always check us online, beyichini.com, or search real estate company in Imbarara. At least you'll find us there and you can easily get to us. And we share with you what we have and move you through all the options that we have for you.
Hoping there are plans to expand the network a little wider to the northern part of Uganda also underway.
It's one thing that is really interesting us, and we've been looking so much at the northern Uganda. And actually, northern Uganda and the Albertine region, the part of Toro, Unyoro sub-region, we are looking at joining those parts. However, at the moment we have partners that we work with, other real estate companies that we partner with in those areas, so that we can always extend our services there. Even here in Kampala, all across the country, we partner with other good real estate companies, and so that whichever customer we get, whether it is in Chisoro or Kapchora, can still be served.
And it is something that would really be interesting for us to find plots elsewhere. You see, pricing and cost is one of those other things that are really looked at with vivid attention, more so for every other person that wants to find a property, maybe around the city or even up country. Away from talking about the fact that prices are low, Beyichini, kindly take us through the specifics. How low is this price? How low is the low that you're offering to the market?
Okay. Thank you. That's a good question. You see, when you're selling something, you have to look at both parties. There are people who say, I want an up, high-end, but you have to also accommodate for a low-end customers. So we have a wide range of prices for our estates. But we can move as low as 6.5 for a plot of land.
And that measures like
50,
the dimensions?
Yeah, the 50 by 100 plot.
50 by 100.
Yes, which is the standard that the government recognizes. And that is the 6.5. And the 6.5 doesn't come to be cash. It doesn't have to be cash. We still offer a payment plan on that. You're able to say cover the 25% of that or 20% of that, and we give you up to 4 months or 3 months to clear the balance, which we found it's quite convenient for most of people, because at least if it is 6.5 and maybe you're able to pay 1.5 at the start of the transaction, and then you pay the balance in 3-4 months, it's something that is mostly affordable to most people.
You see, payment plans are one of the other things. Why don't you try to check them out and ensure that you can move in that specific direction? But then also, the other question that comes in handy whenever we speak about real estate is the question about the fact that many people would always wish to find that estate that has the cheapest prices, but then many people do not recognize the importance of living in planned areas. How far does Beyichini go in terms of having areas that are planned, and maybe the importance of living in areas that are planned? Is that something that you have really considered, Armstrong?
Yeah, really, planning is very important, and most people don't look at it as a very vital aspect, but it's very important. It brings in the aspect of organization, being organized. I'll give you an example. When you plan an estate, you say strictly here we want bungalows, 1-story buildings. Here we want flats. Here it's going to be recreational. Here it's going to be commercial. And that brings in the beauty and the organization of the whole area. So someone who is strictly wanting a flat, they will look at a place where it's strictly going to be flats. And that beautifies everything. Not this where you find, you've been driving through the town or the city, like here in Kampala, and you're following a road. This is a wide road. It's leading you somewhere, and all of a sudden you enter someone's gate. Now, to me, that's poor planning. This road should be going through. It should be joining to another road, so it should be continuous. And usually that comes with planning. So you find someone who, it becomes a close. At the end of the day, it enters into someone's house. So really, as we grow as a community, as a country, I think we need more of this organization and more of the real estate players realizing that it is important to have more organized estate for our people, and this will help us keep organized and living in better communities that won't become slums within a very short period of time.
COVID-19 changed the world, and maybe it changed it for forever. A couple of people from the other sectors have learned to live with COVID-19 and perhaps carried even more lessons to them. Are there specific lessons that have been picked from COVID-19 for the real estate sector specifically, and are those at the very heart of Beyichini?
Yeah, of course, we've learned a lot from this. and it has taught us a lot from the part of our customers to the part of the investors who come at Beyichini, to the people we work with as a team. We've learned a lot on how we can be flexible with our team and encourage people in case something like that happens to work from home and bring in. We are lucky that Uganda is a country that adopts technology faster, and we're able to look at things like Zoom meetings and all that, and I really thank our customers who've been able to even support us through the hard times. But it taught us to be flexible and try to be understanding. I'll give you an example. We have many estates where most of the payments were delayed because of the pandemic. There's no way someone wouldn't be working, because most people lost jobs. Many people would not work. And if someone is receiving little money, they had very important things. People were having a lot of patience, and there was fear of releasing money when you don't know how tomorrow will be. So we had to be flexible and understanding. If we've given you 4 months to clear the balance and it is stretching to 6 months, we had to understand. Because these people would come and tell us, you know the condition, you know what is happening now. And we had to be flexible and extend the time for them to come and clear their balance and own their land. Yeah, and that is something that we also had to share with the investors. These people who come and be part of us, our partners, some of these estates could take longer to completely get finished. And yeah, some of the money takes time to come out, but they had to understand this is something we didn't all plan for, but we had to be flexible and accommodate it.
The real estate sector has also moved from we used to have, building horizontally. Now people are building vertically.
Yeah.
The different products that are provided from condominiums, now moving into, semi-detached houses. Yeah. What are some of the things that Beyichini has to offer for someone that is out there watching?
Well, that itself, what you just described, shows the pressure that is on the land. Land is getting scarce every now and then, and that's basically because we are not creating more land. Land is how it is, and the population is increasing. We give birth, we don't create land, and that causes pressure. So that's why most people are looking at going up, because they can't get more options. So if you have 100 by 100 plot, 1 acre, you're looking at how you can accommodate more houses there, and that's where the condominiums are coming, the semi-detached houses. Because previously, I hope everyone wanted the freedom of having their own house, maybe in a perimeter wall, maybe that whole convenience. But that is something that is getting out, and we have to live with it. As Beyichini, as a company, we've been giving more of plots of land and developed the part of, we make roads for you, we process land titles, we bring in the amenities, electricity, water, we develop the recreation or the commercial areas and all that. But we recently brought the construction and the architecture departments, which will help our customers on doing construction as well. And these plans, when like the estates we are looking at building, bringing in different houses, the semi-detached, the semi-detached, then the condominiums, the standalone houses, so that we can have a variety of people. So these are low density, fair or middle density, and the high density areas. So we are looking at all that, the flats, the bungalows for the people, and that's something that we should be having in a few times to come.
And I really appreciate the fact that you're now incorporating the development part of, of real estate. I was trying to look at some of the statistics that are coming in from the real estate sector, and it has demonstrated a measured degree of change in the consumer, tastes and preferences. Yeah. People now prefer to have different types of houses compared to what they used to demand for. Yes. What are some of those things that you are realizing? And even in plots and in land, people used to prefer having huge chunks of land that they are not willing to develop. Yeah. Has there been any change in the recent times for you?
Yeah, a lot has changed. You see, real estate and construction, it's an industry that has to adapt, that has to innovate, and it keeps changing every now and then. Previously, we've had a lot of change in plans on how people build, and that is something that is understandable. We always adopt technology, we're always innovating, we're always looking at a better way we can live with other people. So formerly we used to look at having a big chunk of land as a prestige. Like where I come from, in the region where I come from, we used to think having a lot of cows as prestige, even if the quality is low. So someone would have a big chunk of land, 50 acres, it's underdeveloped. But now you realize having 50 acres that you're not developing doesn't make sense. Someone who has an acre and they are really earning a lot from it would make sense. So of course, this change in mindset comes with understanding, comes with we travel, we learn, we start comparing things here, there. We look through the aspect of the finances and the returns that we can get when we have this and the other. And it's something that that is changing, and we have to adopt with it. Yeah, if you look around the construction now, there are a lot of modern houses. The hidden roof houses, stuff like which are more of like flats, even when they are bungalows. So it is something that is coming up. So we have to adopt. But again, we have to understand, because not all customers want that. So there are still customers who prefer the ordinary or the former designs, and that is something you have to incorporate and have, say, if you have a design for this, you also try to, maybe the next estate to have some other design. Or you see how you can incorporate the two designs in one estate. And maybe one part, you designate a part for the other, the former estate, and then the rest for the new estate.
Yeah, lastly, as we conclude, we have a private sector-led economy, including the real estate sector.
Yes.
As the players that are within this particular sector, that are playing within this field, what do you find that should be brought at the table of planning? Because indeed our plans are dilapidated as we try to conclude. And maybe lastly, why someone should choose Beyichini over any other real estate sector player? Yes.
I think government should try the best to regulate, like they are trying to regulate most of different sectors, the medical sector and all that. We still have players that are not well regulated, and I'm one person who prefers paying taxes for the government. I think government itself is losing a lot of tax in real estate, which is a very vibrant industry. And I think if they can see the way of tapping in gently, you don't have to be shrewd with people when you're collecting taxes. We want to, but at least in a gentle way. There is a lot. You are here, I know you could be listening. This is something you should look at, and how best you can, because there is a lot of people who are not taxed in real estate, and I know the government can really get a lot, but it comes with organization, it comes with the regulation. How we can, it goes beyond working with the city councils, the development, the community planning, and all that, so that we can have very well planned estates, and we avoid slums for our country, to have our people living in better communities. Then the other thing I would look at, Beyichini, why someone should choose Beyichini. And honestly, like I said, Beyichini, we are looking at, our main offer is organized communities. So if you want to live in a place that will still make sense for you, for your kids, you grow up in a place that will still be organized, then I think you should choose Beyichini. That is the guarantee. That is something that I can guarantee you. And we don't compromise on anything. Be it a road, be it if we tell you we are going to do this, we will do it, no matter how long it takes. And that is something I'm proud of. And that is something we all do at Beyichini.
Lastly, the contact details. Do we have a website? Do we have, where someone watching out there can be able to go right now and look for you?
website, www.beyichini.com. I'm sure even if you search a real estate company in Ibarra, you should be able to get us maybe on the first page or something. At least we are proud of what we do, and we've served many people well, and I'm very sure many people are proud of us, and that makes us move every day. Yeah.
Well, that is something that we should be getting right from Beyichini. I'm right here with the CEO of Beyichini, and he has been telling us quite a lot when it comes to things to do with real estate. And it is something that should really be considered and brought back to the table of planning. After all, everyone lives in a house, and a house is something that we should be looking at as the standard unit of good, living, or maybe standard living. And as we continue to live in this particular country, that has been the breakfast meeting for today's edition, and we shall be able to get back to you, bringing you all the live updates as they shall be coming through.